Pro booth monitor tutorial. I'm DJ Spiegel and we're going to talk about it. DJs that have been DJing for clubs and events already know what the booth monitor is. So DJay Pro has added a feature that lets us have a booth monitor with DJay Pro, which in the past we didn't have this setting before the version 4 update. So if you don't know, what a booth monitor does is it's a speaker directed at the DJ. So when you're DJing for a crowd at a club or an event, there's going to be big speakers facing the audience. So the music is directed towards the crowd so that they can enjoy the music. Now, the issue with this is, as the DJ, you cannot hear the same thing that they're hearing because the speakers are pointing at a different direction. So you'll still be able to hear it, obviously, and feel the bass, but there'll be some frequencies and some beats that might be hard to hear, and it might be hard to get your mixes aligned and then mix smoothly if you don't hear exactly what's going on. So by having a booth monitor pointing directly at us as the DJ, this gives us a lot more control, and we can actually hear exactly what the audience is hearing. It's kind of like headphones, but you don't have to have your headphones on because you have a speaker pointing right towards you. So with this new feature of DJay Pro, it gives us a couple of ways to set up the booth monitor. So I have my DJ2Go touch plugged in, and if you guys know this controller, there is no booth monitor output. So there's a headphone output, well, there's a main output, there's the USB, and then there's the headphone output, and that's it. If you're using a more high-end controller, or if you're using CDJs and a mixer, your mixer will have a section for the booth monitor. So with DJay Pro, in the settings, they give us access to set up the booth monitor, even if your controller does not have a built-in section for the booth monitor. So let's press the middle button and go to our settings. So if you see where my mouse is, I'm pressing this middle little circle over here. You press it, and then we're going to go to settings, and then we're going to go to audio device setup, and then here is our audio device setup. Up here, you could output the sound to the iPad speakers. This is good for practicing and stuff like that, but if you press it, then you don't have access to the booth monitor. It's just, you could use your controller and listen to your iPad. This is good for practicing, scratching, and stuff like that if you don't need big speakers. So now we have our main output. So the main output is going to channel 1 through 2. So that's the main output that I showed you on the controller. Now the pre-queuing, which is the headphones, is going to channel 3 and 4. So that is the channel that I showed you with the headphones. And now we have the booth monitor right here, and it says that it is on none. So this is because there are no ports for it. But let's say that we wanted to DJ, and you know what? We're not going to use our headphones for this event. We are going to use a booth monitor. So what we can do is you press the pre-queuing section over here and go to none. Apply. So now the only output is coming out the main output. So what we can do is we go over here to the booth monitor, and now we have available channels. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to channel 3 and 4. Apply. So now what we can do is we can have our main output coming out here, and then where the headphone output is, instead of having the headphones, what we're going to do is that's going to be our booth monitor. So we switched it from the headphones to the booth monitor. So now any controller that you have, as long as it has a port for headphones or a port for anything else, you will be able to use it as a booth monitor. So this opens it up. Before, you would have to have a controller, which the controllers that have these channels specifically for booth monitor are going to be in the, like, cheapest is going to be like $750 to $800, or you would need a very expensive CDJ and mixer setup. So by having these options with the audio device setup, this helps us be more creative, and we have access to do more things than what is built in to our controllers. So now we could have a booth monitor with literally any controller. This controller is only $89, and now we can have a main output and a booth output. So when you're DJing with DJ Pro now, consider when you're doing your setup, consider getting a monitor speaker or a small speaker or just an extra speaker that you have lying around and have it pointing right at you as the DJ. So you're gonna, if you're doing a mobile gig, you're gonna set up your speakers on either side of you. You're gonna set up your subwoofer either on the floor or somewhere else, and then get a stand, or you could even put it on your DJ table, and then you could have this booth monitor, and you could be able to have so much more precise control over what the audience will hear. So if you're used to doing really small parties where you just bring like a Bluetooth speaker and it's like 30 people, or it's a birthday party or something, it isn't really necessary because the music's not that loud. But when you're DJing at a club or at a wedding or somewhere where there's big booming speakers and a large crowd, and then if you're DJing and the music is towards the crowd, you're just going to really be able to feel the bass and hear some of the music, but you're not going to hear all the frequencies, all the vocals, all the bass that is going on in the song, which is the thing with a lot of, like when I teach people how to beat match and when I teach how to do these beat mix transitions where two songs are playing at the same time. If you're used to DJing at home with small speakers, or like I said, just DJing with the sound coming out of the iPad, you won't really know the difference. So if you're, one of the biggest rules when you're doing mixes is don't have two basses playing at the same time. But if you're just using the speakers on the iPad or a small portable Bluetooth speaker, then you're not going to hear the difference. You're not going to hear the two basses because the speaker doesn't have enough frequencies for you to hear that. So the booth monitor is for if you're doing big events with big speakers and really large crowds. And if you're still practicing, if you're still a bedroom DJ or you're still just a DJ that's practicing at home, don't really worry about it so much now. It's something that you will worry about in the future once you start doing these bigger gigs for bigger crowds. So if you guys learned something from this video, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I make DJ videos. Well, I try to make DJ videos every single day. So also, if you have any questions about setting up controllers or anything specifically about DJ Pro, please feel free to ask me in the comments. I try to get back to every single comment and answer and walk you through any questions that you have if I know the answer to them. And you could also email me pictures and stuff so I can help you out farther along the way. And I have new videos coming out very shortly. And thank you guys so much for watching. This channel is doing great, and I wouldn't have been possible without you guys. So I really appreciate it, and thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.